because the only way to truly kill them is to pull out, which I never do. Oh my god, cut that out, Jesus Christ. Ladies. I am on a journey to get the Platinum Trophy and 100% in every single Borderlands game. We just did Borderlands 2 and the DLC, but we left one out, and that is because it got released as a standalone game. Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep got released before Wonderlands, and it even comes with its own trophy list and platinum, so that's what we're doing today. And I used to love this DLC. I called it the best one in the entire Borderlands series, but this video made me hate it. Not only did I have to 100% it, I had to complete it 7 times. Oh my god. If you watched the last video, you know there's one Vault Hunter I never played. I saved them till last just for the occasion. It's the teeny tiny rage machine himself. You know him, you love him, of course. It's Salvador the Gunzerker. He is by far the most broken Vault Hunter there's ever been. He can do stupid amounts of damage and at the same time be literally immortal, because his action skill let him use 2 weapons at the same time, and I will come back to this to explain just how cracked this is later. So sit back, relax. If you like the video, like it, and if you love it, feel free to subscribe to see more of my dumb face. The one shot takes place just after the second game. We've defeated Jack and we have some time to kill. So we play a little game of Bunkers and Badasses, which is the non-copyright version of Dungeons and Dragons that those Hellfire Club nerds play. Although this cutscene made me think maybe I should have played Maya.
My siren's name is Brick, and she is the prettiest.
Instead, I have to make Sal look the part, so I throw him in a Viking helmet and make him fabulous whilst calling him D&D's nut. We arrive at the unassuming docks, we grab our first weapons and shields, which we then test out on a few skelly bobs and immediately see one of the main differences between a DLC and a standalone. We get our action still immediately at level 2, and not only that, we get 2 skill points every single time we level up. Then we have our first boss battle, the Handsome Dragon, and as you know by now, I am basically a Borderlands pro. First boss in the game, light work. Tina kinda forgot to balance the enemies, so she switches it out for
Mr. Bony Pants Guy?
Here you see me dual wield for the first time as I fight the little lad until he knocks me to the ground. But don't worry, I do take him down with me, getting us this ding trophy. But unfortunately the one life is ended 20 seconds later. Man, that was quick. I get to Flame Rock Refuge and I talk to the townspeople. They tell us the queen has gone missing, so I need to speak to Lady Eleanor, who once again Tina forgot to put on the board. She tells us that the queen went into the forest to find the Tree of Life. Since the sorcerer has cursed the land, the light of her love has vanished and been replaced with shadow and shade. So we need to get into that forest to give her a hand. No one's supposed to be allowed in, but luckily for us, the gatekeeper is a complete pushover, so this should be nice and easy. Well, when I say should, it would have been until they get replaced by Mr. Torg. He says we need to prove our badassness, so we need to blow up 2 airships, nice and easily done, regardless of the civilian casualties. Then we get sent over to the tavern, where we get to meet the badass, the beautiful, the bodacious, the bootyful Miss Moxie. But this creep won't leave her alone, so we have to teach him some manners. And I am supposed to chase him all across town here, but if you bonk him once and stand in a doorway, he can't quite figure it out. He does that awkward thing, you know, when you try and cross paths with someone and you like... You know that thing? And then you can just bonk him again until he freaking explodes, granting us access to the Forest of Tranquility.
Boring.
Sorry, I mean the forest are being eaten alive by trees. The trents rise up, so we have to plant them back in the ground. And look at the stompers on these little guys. They're so cute. I find some of the queen's jewels on the ground, making a trail, so I follow those. That's until I do get immediately distracted by the side path, which Tina kinda sorta forgot to balance as well. So I run for my life following the trail again until I meet Davlin. He says he knows where the queen went, but the path has been blocked off. So we need some blood fruit to open the way, meaning I have to fight my way through a horde of orcs, getting this ding trophy and taking on the warlord Grog himself. He can level up all the orcs around him and himself till he's completely over leveled, which is a nightmare, but it's worth killing him if you can, because you can get a stupid amount of XP and some rare drops. I then come across my first dice chest. These are super cool because the higher number you roll, the better the loot inside, and you can even pay iridium to roll an extra dice. And if you manage to get the nat 20, we also get this ding trophy. I pull the blood fruit directly from the Trents as I turn them into charcoal and race back to Devlin, who opens the path to the immortal woods. That's until I hit a dead end where once again we need to unlock the path, and it says only the blackest of white knights, Roland, can do that for us, so I need to find him. The first place I think to look is the afterlife, but we actually find him at the crash site of one of those blimps we took down earlier. Of course, with Roland actually being deado in the story, he's voiced by Tina here. Maybe it's helping her grieve, I don't know. So we help him fight the 3 dragons that are circling, 2 reds and a blue, I think, where once again I find a way to die. I swear I'm just warming up, it's fine, it's fine. Cue the Rocky training montage as we are taking our first trip to the long-awaited Side Quest City. Riddle me this though, Batman. Why do we have to make Torg prove that he's nerdy enough to play D&D with us? Have you ever met a gym bro? They are the nerdiest people in the world. It just happens to be about picking up heavy things and putting them down again. Then I begin the Crumpet Saga, which does sound like a typical morning for a British boy like myself. I'll keep coming back to this one as it's sprinkled all across the DLC. Next up we meet Sir Reginald von Bartlesby. That's how you say that, sure. He probably does have a quest for us, but we don't get to see it as Brick knocks his dice onto the board, killing him instantly.
Yay!
I grab a few more crumps, then it's time to get our busty bodyguard some more armor, and I can either choose the big tanky Skyrim armor, or we can choose the Marvel Rivals edition. And because my name is Moto, let's get the big one. Now it's time for me to prove that I am the ultimate gamer. I have to make the others rage quit. First up, XX Dat Vault Hunter, who I have to embrace my British heritage once again and teabag him into the next dimension. Then I bonk 420 Esports Master till he can't take it anymore, and then I have to phase up against 720 no-scopes, headshotting him with a sniper. Following this, I meet my first Dark Soul. I have to light a few bonfires and then take out whatever rises, and whilst I do this, it makes me think I should probably platinum the Dark Souls games at some point. Oh, I've just noticed, you can see the mic. Yeah, this bitch ain't plugged in. Should I do an Elden Ring platinum? I've already got it 3 times personally on 3 different accounts, but it will be good to have it on the record that I am, in fact, him. Get back to that Dark Soul and he actually becomes mortal again. That's until he's immediately invaded by the noob killer. We have to give him a taste of his own medicine. It turns out Lady Luck is not only not in my corner, she's cheering for the other team, because I find a weapon, but after rolling my first nat 1, it flies through the sky. Rolling a second, it breaks my hands, flying into the sky again, and the third creates a monster that we have to destroy. But I think it's time I gave those dragons another visit. This time it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Getting me this trophy. Ding! I take Roland, who opens the path for us so we can press on after the queen, and we make it to the Tree of Life to find out she isn't there, but Devlin thinks he can break the curse himself, but when he tries, it raises 4 ghost kings from the dead, which I have to separate their head from their body and then take those out too. And you see these guys with blue swords, they are immortal. You take them down, they get back up unless you rip it from their back, and if you do it without taking them down, you also get this ding trophy, because the only way to truly kill them is to pull out, which I never do. Oh my god, cut that out, Jesus Christ. Ladies. Back to this video. I find a way to break the game once again, I always do, because a guy fell through the floor and my magic missile, which locks onto enemies, can't even find a way to them. So I do a grenade jump to get back out of the arena and still can't see them, so I have to close the game and do it all over again. I was just gonna skip to the end here, but the second time round I find a way to die. Now I'll be right back. Look at these lovely chests. I hope there's some great loot inside and nothing. Oh my god! I then head through the mines. Fair warning though, this is where the spiders come into the game, so if you're arachnophobic, just close your eyes and listen to my soothing baritones from here on out, because we're not talking the friendly neighborhood kind, unfortunately. I fight through a few more orbs getting this ding trophy. And then I meet up with the king of the dwarfs himself until Brick makes us punch him in the face. So now all the dwarfs want us dead, let's go talk to a friendly wizard instead. Apparently I can rhyme. He takes one look at us and says there's no way we'll survive the handsome sorcerer who has taken the queen, so he can't in good faith let us continue. Or as Claptrap the Grey would phrase it, you shall not pass! Of course we do, but the exit to the mine is locked away, unfortunately, with dwarven runes, so we need to track them down. The first one is Claptrap's most prized possession, so obviously I steal it. and then go after the next. But that isn't before starting one of his SQCs, the one that gets us the Grog Nozzle. If you know anything about Borderlands, you probably know what this is, but if you don't, it slags the enemies so they take bonus damage, and they also heal for any damage done, which when paired with Salvador's action skill means you can put any other weapon in your hands, do stupid amounts of damage, therefore you never die. Unless you're really bad like me. The next rune is a jumping puzzle, so that's a little bit more hardcore parkour. If you just throw yourself off the map enough times, Tina gets annoyed and builds us a bridge. And then we have this Rubik's Cube that spins round and you have to memorize the pattern. But of course, if you get this wrong enough, Rick gets annoyed and you can just punch it until it breaks, opening the door for the next rune. The last rune is held by Greed Tooth. He is one of the most powerful dwarves left alive, and he's actually being mind controlled by the sorcerer. This means he immediately fights us in his golden golem, but if you see that floating tankard in the air, if we destroy that, it breaks the curse on him. He stops fighting and goes to give us the rune until he realizes we're the one that just killed his king, and then the fight continues. And now I have all the pieces together. We spell wrath, which unfortunately isn't right because of course the answer is fart.
Did somebody say fart? What a stinky thing to say!
Oh, Borderlands, remember when you used to be funny? But now I'm out of the mines, I can see Dragon keep in the distance. We just have to fight our way there. Not only does the handsome sorcerer send orcs after us, if we take a small detour, we can find the darkness. And if you light up the dark, you get this ding trophy. Now inside the castle, I fight my way through knights and sorcerers, opening the path one door at a time until I can finally cross the bridge. Just one problem. Remember the handsome dragon from the beginning? It is back with a vengeance. And then we get to the elevator puzzle. My freaking arch enemy, my nemesis. All you have to do is time it right, move across the platforms. So tell me why I find a way to die at least once every single time. I then see a familiar face from Borderlands 2 though. It's Face McShooty. And if you watched the last one, you know I drove myself crazy trying to hit a trick shot from across the map like all those cool content creators. But I'm done clip farming. Ding trophy. The next room has a magically sealed off dice chest, so hoping that gives me some extra luck, I light up everyone in the room so I can open it. For all of my troubles, I roll a 13, getting me useless weapons I don't even keep. So I take out a few more mages in anger and proceed through the dungeon until I come across Angel. Remember her? Well, she's now more of a demon as she is locked in. So we undo her shackles, thinking let's save her once again until she reveals she is a giant freaking spider. Not gonna lie, wood. No, not the spider parts. I just mean I can fix her, or you know, she can break me or whatever comes first. Hey, Jack even gets it.
Have fun getting killed by my freak-ass daughter, I guess.
We get attacked by 1,000 spiders here, and Angel does have invincibility moments too. We have to fight the minions. I always hate those. If she gets close enough, she can actually drain our health and our body, hopefully. But after a few laps, I finish her off, and this is where I rise to the top of Dragon's Keep, so I can take on the handsome sorcerer, man to significantly smaller man. And there are 3 phases here. The first, he has a bubble and can duplicate himself. The second being a necromancer, where he can raise the dead. And the third being the demonic sorcerer, where he's all fiery and brings out baby dragon. After I pump him full of purple, we then see this final cutscene, and I'm just gonna let this play out.
Guess who showed up to celebrate? Everyone's favorite invincible knight, Roland!
That's enough, Tina.
You did it. We've won.
And Roland showed up and he was really happy and everyone lived forever and it was great at the end.
Enough! You can't just deny what Jack did to Roland.
I know, but it's my story! As the sorcerer's fatal spell hurtled toward the oblivious knight, it was clear that only a miracle would save him. But luckily for the knight, a miracle is exactly what he got.
That's right, Roland and Bloodwing are back from the dead, at least in this story. It's all very sweet, because we have saved the day and everyone's going to live happily ever after in the valley, so why don't we get the queen out of her cell? But Stallion herself, our shiniest girl, of course the shiniest guy spot is reserved for Edward Cullen. The queen ain't half bad. She brings all the light back to the world, and just like that, we did it. Ding! Trophy. But we still have a hell of a lot more to go before we get that platinum trophy, so you know what's time for. Our favorite place. Say it with me now. Side quest city! I then turn Sal into my self-insert character, giving him grey hair and a dad bod. Go back to feeding the pony, because if I give her iridium, weapons will fall out of her holes. I then ask about the Bane. It's another quest taken straight from the normal game here, but to be fair, it did seem very D&D. As we find out more about this cursed weapon, every person that held it died. We just find scrolls of what happened to them, tracking it further and further down, until we get to where it was buried with Gar, its final owner. He rises until I put him back to bed, and we get the weapon for ourselves. I don't even end up using it, so let me show a clip how painful it is. It literally screams, and it forces you to walk when you fire it. You know the story King Arthur about the little lad that if he pulls the sword from the stone he becomes King of England? Well, what if that stone was actually a rock golem and he had hands? We have to keep taking it out again and again here, pulling the sword more and more from its body until we can claim it for ourselves. I take it back to Roland and he turns it into the sword explosion. I then go on my next crumpet run. I go all across the DLC to get these, so whilst I get them all in the background, let's talk about British stereotypes, because I sure as hell don't help. The main one is that British people have messed up teeth. I have had braces for 4 years and literal jaw surgery. It is all true. It's not a stereotype. It is a fact. SpongeBob was based on me. But anyway, let's race to 221B Baker Street because I am about to share lock in, because we need to solve a mystery. One of the knights have had stuff stolen from them, so we have to go around questioning the others, and they all take it as a slight on their honor. So of course they fight us and we have to fight back. None of the knights having what was stolen. I go back to get my reward. I get to have one item from this chest. So let's look extra close at this chest, shall we? Rah! Yes, of course, it's a mimic. And remember Game of Thrones, that show everyone loved and then everyone hated real quickly? Well, we have a reference here as we get to go after Joffrey. Sorry, I mean Jeffrey. He sends his guards after us. We take them out. Then he sends the mountain and the hound after us. Sorry, I mean the molehill and the canine. We take those out, and then we get to 1v1 the small blonde child doing what everyone wishes they could. I smack the shit out of him, and this is oddly too satisfying. I do this for far too long as I turn his face into Play-Doh. But now it's time to jump into True Vault Hunter mode, the new game plus. I need to get to max level for the trophy, so let's boss rush this bitch. Handsome dragging his balls across my face still as he takes me out. More like Mr. Lonely Pants guy as he's now buried, but that's enough XP to go back to side quest city. I have to plant this tree and defend it as it grows and then smashes up a small orc village. I am over leveled, and that is completely intentionally. You can fail this quest and have to do it all over again. I hate it so much, so I always over level myself so I don't have to worry about it. And even then, she still ends up taking quite a bit of damage. Once again, we're raising the dead because the sorcerer wants to help his brother. I resurrect a few fellas, but none of them are the ones we're looking for, so I put them back peacefully and very respectfully in their eternal slumber. Sorry about this. But once I find a brother, I have to make a decision. Only one of them shall live. Do I take out the sorcerer that's paying us, or the one that I've already brought back to the dead? And because I am conflict avoidant, I don't make decisions. What I do is I throw my lock-on grenades into the sky and let them choose for me. As they saw, I feel like Two-Face here, leaving it up to the coin to decide. Back to the boss rush. Honestly, I did have written Sorcerer's Porter, but that's a bit much, and she proves that by taking me the hell out until I get my revenge, so I'll just say Sorcerer's Slaughter, I guess. I try taking on the Sorcerer again, but my weapons are super underleveled. It takes so long that I simply give up. Look at me look at the ground in defeat here. Instead, I go to the Looter Pulse, and using it for the first time gets this. Ding! Trophy. I forgot all about the magical circle of slaughter, which could have helped level me up so much earlier. There's 6 waves here, I think, so let's just power through them together, as this is simply a waste of time. I get no XP because I'm over leveled, and anything they drop me is also under leveled, so completely useless. Round 1, easy. Round 2, peasy. Round 3, lemon. Round 4 should have been squeezy, but I actually got squoze. I find a way to die here, falling into one of the holes in the ground, so I have to do it all over again. Round 4, now squeezy. Round 5, cheesy. And the badass round, feed me. This process does does get us a few trophies though. We get the character specific one for Sal, but gunzerking for 90 seconds. The more people we kill, the longer it goes on for. Ding, trophy. And finishing the final wave also gets us this. Ding, trophy. Speaking of character trophies though, let's crack on with some more. Each one has to kill 100 people with their action skill. First up, accident, which takes that long. I make it all the way back to the elevator room where, you guessed it, I die again. But eventually, ding, trophy. Next up, zero, where I've disappointed myself twice here now, because action skill's cool as hell. You do melee damage, and if you kill them, you throw another invisible clone out, and it is super satisfying. But the one that marks the trophy here was a little disappointing. Sorry. Next up, Maya. She wraps up enemies and her purple bubblegum until she pops them. Ding, trophy. Gage. I have to run in circles so her necromancer can very painfully slowly take out enemies until ding, trophy. And then it's Krieg with his meat bicycle, so I bonk 100 enemies in the face until I get this. Ding, trophy. And now it's time for the co-op trophies. These are nice and quick. I do a trade, I do a duel, and I have to sacrifice little Lewis enough times for me to revive him, getting me ding, trophy for all the level 1 challenges, and ding, trophy for reviving someone in my friends list. And now it's time for another quest I was putting off forever, because we have to protect this green slime cube. Orcs are kamikazing themselves from all different angles, and you have to stop them from reaching you. I even buy one of the Seraph weapons here, which can lock onto the enemies for me, but it takes forever to reload, and they start running that quickly that they just outrun the rocket. So I abuse the auto-aim mechanics here to try and make my life easier, and even then still find a way to miss every single bullet, and a few of them do make it to us. There's also this mysterious amulet, and I remember this from the Borderlands 2 version. It cost so much gold. I had 340,000, and then I found out in the one shot they just changed it to be 5k. Ding, trophy. Now it's finally time for the raid boss here. This is once again one of the big changes, and I actually dislike this one, I'll be honest. The Ancient Dragons of Destruction. They are an absolute nightmare in Borderlands 2. You need the perfect build. They have stupid amounts of health, stupid amounts of damage. They can even heal themselves. So I over prepare. I get the max money shot build going. I have a shotgun at a stupid amount of damage. I have the grog nozzle. I have Salvador at max freaking level before attempting this. And then I find out they're just pushovers in the one shot. It was so easy, and that's so sad. I actually wanted a challenge for once, but it turns out I've just that addicted to cheese. It basically is in my blood. I find a way. Ding, trophy. And the final trophy that makes most people quit this platinum, getting the chubby. What makes it so bad is it's just an RNG trophy. So I literally open the game, see if he's there, close the game, open it back up. This took 4 hours. 4 hours. At first I was optimistic, then I lost hope, then I thought it was broken, I must be doing something wrong. I watch YouTube videos, I look at tutorials, I'm doing it right, I'm just unlucky. I keep going, then I think maybe my game's broken, maybe I am the problem, maybe I'm gonna have to do all of this again, and fuck that. Hours and hours later, there he is, Chubby Bones. That is a ding trophy and a ding, the freaking platinum finally. Get this game off my PlayStation. Uninstall. I'm going to bed. It's 4 a.m. Love you lots.